This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the 2016 Marcum MicroCap Conference in New York City. I have with me here Hank Lambert, PURE Bioscience, P-U-R-E. It's a publicly traded company. Hank, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thanks, Shelley. It's great to be with you again.
So let's get right into it by starting with an overview on PURE.
Well, Shelley, as you know, for the past two and a half years, we have been focused on commercializing our unique patented antimicrobial technology based on Silver Dihydrogen Citrate, or SDC, as a food safety solution. First, with our original product, PURE Hard Surface, which is an EPA-registered food contact surface disinfectant, we have been marketing that to restaurant chains as well as food processors. And we are gaining growing momentum in our revenues from those sources, largely because with restaurant chains and norovirus being the leading cause of foodborne illness outbreaks in restaurant chains, we are the most effective disinfectant on the market today in killing or eradicating norovirus from a restaurant environment. We kill norovirus in 60 seconds. Similarly, with food processors, listeria is a very prevalent and persistent problem in food processing facilities, and we are the most effective disinfectant in eradicating listeria from food processing facilities on the market today. So we've been gaining growing momentum from those sources. At the same time, we have recently gained FDA approval for use of our technology in direct food contact as a processing aid for poultry and produce. It is applied directly onto the poultry and produce during processing, and we are in the early stages of commercializing what we're calling Pure Control, our direct food contact processing aid brand for use by produce and poultry processors.
You know, I knew you pre-FDA approval, and it was always like, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. What's the change in the company since it's happened?
Well, this is the most significant development really in the history of PURE Bioscience, was gaining the approval of the FDA. What's been happening at the company since the approvals, in the case of produce, we have been actively in trials with one of the largest produce processors in their pilot plant, trialing Pure Control in different locations during their processing, as well as working on organoleptic testing to ensure that the application of Pure Control, or SDC, does not have any negative impact on any organoleptics like discoloration or off odors or impacting the nutritional values. We're also doing shelf life testing. So we're in the midst of those trials with a major produce processor and nearing the end of that process, at which time we would expect them to begin using Pure Control in their processing operations. In the case of poultry, in addition to FDA approval, we also need USDA approval. So we're in the process of conducting plant trials that are necessary to gain USDA approval for use in poultry processing, and those are progressing well also.
I want to throw you a question that seems to me to be apparent. With the FDA approval and pre-USDA approval, you still have what I consider to be two things: first mover advantage and barrier to entry for your competition. Could you comment on that?
Sure. With regard to the efficacy, in terms of the breadth of pathogen kill, the speed of pathogen kill, and the fact that we're non-toxic, whereas all of the other disinfectants or processing aids in use in the market today are highly toxic, in that sense we do have first mover advantage. We also have competitive advantages in the areas of the fact that for food contact surface use, we don't have to be rinsed off. We provide 24-hour residual kill, which is a claim that the EPA allows us to make. No one else can make that claim. So we do have significant competitive advantages in that regard.
Let's talk about the additional barriers to entry, if there are any.
Well, our barriers to entry really start with our patent protection. We have 12 patents on our core technology, different methods of use, different formulations. Many of the patents extend out to 2030, so that's a key barrier to entry. Secondly, with our unique EPA registration as a food contact surface disinfectant, is clearly a unique barrier to entry. And now with our FDA approvals for our unique patented antimicrobial technology, it would also be a barrier to entry. With regard to competition, there are significant, very large players out there. As you're well aware, the competitive advantages that we have versus them include our superior breadth of pathogen kill, speed of pathogen kill, the fact that we're non-toxic, the fact that we don't have to be rinsed off, we're user and environment friendly, and in the case of Pure Control, our direct food contact processing aid, there are no organoleptic issues with the use of our product, no off odors, no discoloration, no impact on nutritional values, and in the case of poultry, we've been able to demonstrate that we have a neutral to positive impact on yield, which is very important to poultry processors and could provide literally millions of dollars in savings.
2016 is half done. We're heading into 2017. We've got 2 quarters to go. Can you give me a little bit of a milestone, how you would feel good achieving?
Sure. We have a number of milestones that we're working toward. First and foremost is to gain USDA approval for use of Pure Control during poultry processing. We're in the midst of conducting those trials now. We expect within the next quarter or two to have those trials completed and to have USDA approval. At that time, we've already been working with a number of poultry processors who are very interested in bringing the product in once we have USDA approval. So that's the number one milestone that we're working toward. We also have opportunities with a number of restaurant chains who have had norovirus issues and other foodborne illness outbreaks attached to their restaurant system or chain, and we're working with them very closely to develop solutions for their stores as well as for their supply chains. So those are 2 of the key milestones. I guess the third would be, and very importantly, the beginning of the generation of revenues from produce processors. We're very close to that, completing trials with a major produce processor, and would expect revenues to begin building from produce processors for Pure Control in the coming months.
Let's give your website, Hank, for our investor audience.
www.purebio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hank Lambert, Pure Bioscience, publicly traded company, and the symbol is PURE. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the 2016 Marcum MicroCap Conference in New York City. Hank, thanks for coming on.
Thanks very much, Shelley. Great to be with you.
Always good to have you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.